All right, all right. Let's not waste any time and get right into the mailbag. This first message is just too long to read in this video. This guy is having difficulty choosing a life path, and he's looking at three options. The first, he wants to possibly go into Navy Special Forces, and that's the one he's leaning towards right now. The second, he may want to be a dietitian. And the third, he just may want to relax, chill out, do magic, and live in the woods as a druid. Which, we all want to do from time to time. He says that his sun sign is Pisces, he has his moon in Sagittarius, and his ascendant is Libra. Well, no wonder you're having difficulty in making a decision. Because the sign of Libra, people with very strong Libra are always, well, I may do this, but on the other hand, I may do this, and on the other hand, always trying to balance the scales. Pisces are the fish that are tied together at the tail, swimming in opposite directions, so they're always being pulled in opposite directions. And then Pisces and Sagittarius are both mutable signs. That means they adapt and change. They're never constant. So having difficulty making a decision is probably normal for you, to the point where you're writing into me, asking me what you should choose. And, I got to be honest, I don't know what your life path is. That is something that you have to decide for yourself. What do you gravitate towards? What do you feel is right for you? And you need to look at the reasons of why you would choose that path. You're looking at maybe going into the Navy Special Forces to, as you put it, fight corruption from the inside. And I'm not too sure you may want to base your entire life path on something like that. I like to invoke change by inspiring others, not trying to force change that is going to lead to conflict. Obviously, you want to choose a path that is going to lead you to your long-term goals, but you also need to consider the experience of the journey itself, because many times the journey is more rewarding than the destination. I wish that I could make your path more clear-cut for you, but it's something that you're just going to have to feel out and decide for yourself. No one can choose it for you, and no one can walk it for you. And thanks for the question. All right, this one's not a question, but it is a message of thanks that I wanted to respond to. Hello, Frater Xavier. I would just like to send this message as a thanks for telling the world the knowledge you've obtained over the years as a magician. Growing up, there was a lot of things I saw that I made links to, but the people around me thought I was crazy believing such a thing. The planet and the things on it all have consciousness, everything we do is magic, etc. I've watched your entire Mystery School series back to back, and many of the things you said I felt I already knew intuitively, but I never accepted as fact because of the way I was raised. Thank you for clarifying the topics you discussed, because I honestly believe I was meant to be on this path, but I had to stop denying it and accept it. You made me realize my true nature, and I can't thank you enough. Be blessed. And you're welcome. And I wanted to address this because people do intuitively know these things, and that's why it resonates with people. It's not that I'm telling you things you didn't already know. They were just in the subconscious, and by the way I've explained things, it brought it all up to the surface. But people do know. I keep saying the knowledge is within you, and I appreciate your message. Thank you. I have been going through this wide-eyed awakening the last couple years. I could tell and smell when there is spirit around me. Smells like Teen Spirit. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. I couldn't resist that. Moving on. Never have run into any bad. I have been very aware of the subconscious mind, and your illustration with the card and the female gender looking at the angel helped me understand. It instantly clicked. Thank you. And you're welcome. Again, it resonates. It resonates within you. You feel it. And you're like, yes, okay, I understand this now. I kind of felt it all along, but now I have an explanation to go with the feeling. The knowledge is within you. Do you masturbate? If you masturbate and ejaculate, do you waste your Mars energy? Never waste an orgasm. He goes on to say, because when I masturbate, I have like no motivation for a couple of days. And motivation is Mars energy. So there's your answer. How do you do it? You said your even flow video that everything that goes in has to come out. How do you release sperm if you don't have a girlfriend and you don't want to masturbate? It seems impossible. You probably shouldn't have sperm going in. I mean, I'm not one to judge or anything, but that's not really what I meant. When you do stop having sex and masturbating, does that kill your sex drive, your motivation? Because you're like telling your body you're too much of a loser to get girls, you can't get women, so you stop producing motivation. Your sex drive is your motivation. I mean, how many guys are there out there that go for money and power just to get girls? You know, I kind of went over this before. This is why most men are not really successful until after age 40. And it's not because we go impotent or anything. It's because we're able to not think about sex all the time. We're able to focus on other things to actually get things done. You know, I don't know how old you are, but if you're a relatively young man, I would recommend getting into sigil magic, because then you can actually accomplish something as you're rubbing one out. Now, in my sigil magic course, Manifesting Reality, I kind of steer away from that method and have my own system for charging sigils. But the most common method is the wank method, as it's often referred to. If you have to do it, you might as well put that energy to some use. And thanks for the question. Hi, sir. I recently discovered you a few months ago, and I am slowly catching up on your Mystery School videos. I was just wondering, how do I receive the Laws of Magic program? I purchased your Words of Power. I thought it was really good, especially when you went over Doth and speaking in tongues. The sign-up period for the next run of the Laws of Magic series will be at the beginning of October, just here in another couple weeks. And the series will begin at the end of October. So, you know, you got a good month to be able to sign up. But it's coming up shortly. Also, as a female practitioner, do you have any advice for females? Would you still recommend R.S.D. Tyler for females to watch? Absolutely. No question about it. Because he goes over so much more than just pickup. I mean, I know that's the facade or frame that he's coming from, but he does actually have a lot of good Hermetic principle advice in there, even if he doesn't recognize it as the Hermetic principles. I know I say this almost every time he's brought up, but he just released one of the best videos he's ever done just recently, within the last couple days, on his RSD Free Tour channel. And the title of the video is You Are a King, Tyler's Secret to Being a Cut Above. Really good sound life advice within this video, no matter if you're male or female, because it's, you know, it's called You Are a King, but he goes into what makes a queen also. It's definitely something I would put on my must-watch list. And you can get a feel for the rest of his material by watching this video. But, you know, it's like anything else. You have to resonate with it for you to get the most out of it. So it may be that you don't resonate with R.S.D. Tyler, but he does present some really good information, and I see females at his events all the time in the audience. Is magic any different for female practitioners? I read that females had to practice differently because our energy is different than males. I'm not sure what that means, but I find that most ceremonial magic is directed towards males, while practical magic or Wicca is directed more to females. Why is that? Thank you so much. Well, men and women are energetically different. There's no question of that. However, the method of practice is the same. I'm not going to speak for any other tradition, but there is no separate curriculum for males and females in the ceremonial magic that I'm doing, and I have yet to see it. The exercises are going to be the same regardless of your gender. And I wouldn't say that ceremonial magic is more directed towards males and Wicca is directed more at females. Again, it's going to go back to what you resonate with. Females typically are just more drawn to nature-based magic, and men are more drawn to the Hebrew, Egyptian style art of conjuring demons, as every young boy dreams of doing. Because make no mistake about it, ceremonial magic is training you to eventually conjure spirits and command them and face your own demons. So I don't think that the different magical styles and traditions are being directed, purposefully at a specific gender. It's just that the different magical systems are going to resonate more with specific genders. Just as like girls are more likely to play with dolls and boys are more likely to play with fire trucks. And that's about the simplest way that I could put it. And I appreciate the question. Hello, mind. Well, hello. I'm looking for a witch or priestess to help me with spells, or shall I say perform a spell cast for me. I am in a bad situation financially. I have tried a priestess in Florida that helped me, but got minor results. Are you experienced enough in the spell casting field to help me, or could you refer me to someone that can help me if you don't do that? I appreciate it. My name is... Great videos also. Yes, I am experienced, but I typically don't provide that service. And as I don't hang around a lot of other magicians, I'm not really sure who I would refer you to. I don't rely on anybody else for magic. Magical supplies, yes, but, as for performing magic, no. But, if all you need is, a boost in your finances, I have a few free money spell videos on this channel that you yourself can perform with absolutely no risk to you whatsoever. It's free, and that will help give you a boost. Now, if you want more long-term financial help, you could pick up my course, The Secrets of Wealth, for $20. And that's going to cover everything that I did personally to go from having virtually no income before magic to where I am today, quite comfortable. It's also going to address the mindset you need to have in order to keep the gains that you get. Many times people can come into a lot of money, but they end up spending it all or losing it all because they're not addressing the fundamental issue that has kept them in poverty. And it's only $20. Well, that's what I would recommend. It may be biased because it's my program, but, nevertheless, if you hired me to actually do a spell for you, it's going to run you several hundred, which seems quite silly when you're having financial problems. You know, it comes down to the whole give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. And they're really quite simple things to do. It's not even dressing in robes and doing a whole ceremony, none of that. Because what magic really boils down to is symbolism. And it's the symbolism through the subconscious mind that's going to do all the work. So they're very, very simple things to do. And I wish you all the luck and success. And thanks for the question. Greetings. Thanks for your channel. It has launched me to new heights. I'm learning things I thought I lost. I was raised Southern Baptist in Oklahoma. So I was always taught I was going to hell for questions I asked, and no one seemed to have the answers. Thanks for rekindling the fire, my friend. I want to practice magic, but I find myself in constant fear. I wonder why that is. What should I do? Any tips on how to let it be? It's always assumed that it's so simple, but it seems impossible to turn off my mind. Thanks for your time. Yeah, I mean, that is the definition of a phobia, an irrational fear. Because your conscious mind's like, yeah, I know this shouldn't be anything to be afraid of, but I'm scared of it anyway. Irrational fear. Remember, the subconscious mind is the irrational part of the mind, while the conscious mind is the logical side. So all phobias originate from the subconscious. And how is your subconscious programmed? That you're going to hell. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. I've been there. You know, we can make logical sense that these beliefs weren't yours. You did not originate these beliefs. These beliefs were passed down to you. They were chosen for you and instilled within you. Now, the good news is that phobias can be cured. I had cured myself of arachnophobia with self-hypnosis. Used to be when I was younger, I'd get around a spider, I'd freak out. Or if one was in the room and it disappeared, I wouldn't rest until it was found and destroyed. But now I have none of that. You know, if I find one, I'll catch it and throw it outside. So I understand the irrational fear of phobias because I have experienced it. There's no reason for a grown man to be afraid of a tiny little spider. But I had experienced it all the same. Now, when it comes to a phobia of going to hell, well, you may need a professional clinical hypnotherapy session for that one. But what's really going to help is just your choice of your magical system. For obvious reasons, Wicca is probably not going to be the best fit for you. But in the case of ceremonial magic, and the system that I use personally, it's kind of hard to be afraid of going to hell when you're calling on the archangels, quoting the Bible and the Psalms in ritual rites, and using the Hebrew names of God. You know, this is a big reason why I myself am a ceremonial magician, because of my strict religious upbringing and the programming that was passed on down to me. I needed a system that would not clash with that. And it's not until you actually start doing it and getting deeper into it that you see how much biblically based a lot of it is. So don't let outward appearances deceive you. If you're going to pick a system that conflicts with your phobia and your pre-programming, you may begin to have some trouble when those paradigms clash. So that's my thoughts on it. course, you don't have to do magic. Nothing's requiring you to. But if you feel you must, in your case, I would go with a Western ceremonial magic system similar to what I'm using. And thanks for the question. All right, one more. I have to thank you again, Frater. I've spent thousands of Australian dollars on books since the teachings you put down first inspired me. I say this because everything I've read and learned since still does not add up to what you first taught me. I've studied all your stuff, perspective and grounding. Thank you for helping me obtain those two essential attributes. My pleasure, and thank you for the kind words. But this goes along with our kind of theme of the day of resonance. Apparently the way I've taught and explained to you resonated with you. You know, you can ask somebody else and they may be like, oh, well, he's okay. It's much like when, take motivational speaking, for example. Somebody can go to a Tony Robbins seminar and be really, really pumped, and another person can go and just be like, meh. But then that person can go see somebody else's seminar and be really pumped and get a lot out of it. It all depends on the perspective that they resonate with. And this is why I teach to, take in a lot of information from a lot of sources to find those that you do resonate with. I'm going on about, Uncle Birch, R.S.D. Tyler, Bob Proctor. I think I've mentioned his name quite a few times. There's Ty Lopez. All sorts of people that I resonate with and have found their information to be extremely useful to me. And typically what you resonate with is going to help you, is going to help motivate you. Unless you're just in a low vibration and resonate with Justin Bieber and Alex Jones. So it's been a while since I got any hate mail. Got to shake things up for next month's mailbag. No, I had one person ask me why I always pick on Alex Jones, and I don't always pick on Alex Jones. It's just, I used him as an example a couple of times, but my issue with Alex Jones is that he isn't that much different from the mainstream media. In fact, he uses a lot of mainstream media articles to illustrate his point, which I'm going to use now to illustrate my point, that he gets you to focus upon the same things. But back to my friend down under, I told you about the books. Everybody want me to give out book recommendations all the time. And the next thing you know, you're thousands of dollars in, and they really didn't teach you all that much more. It's not about the books. It's about the action and putting it into practice. I know everyone wants to soak up as much knowledge as they can get their hands on, but the real knowledge comes from experience. So I hope that by mentioning perspective and grounding that you are actually doing the exercises and taking steps to further your practice. Someone did ask me about Franz Barden's books and what I thought of them, and I think they're excellent. He goes over a lot of mental training in initiation into Hermetics, and I think it's excellent. I still think you need something to round that out, though. But if you put Franz Barden's initiation into Hermetics along with Kabbalah, magic, and the great work of self-transformation, if you put those two curriculum together, you can be a very, very powerful magician in a very short amount of time, relatively speaking. But that's all we're going to have time for today, as this video is going on quite a bit long. I want to thank everyone who took the time to write in, and I will see you next time. Take care.